Blue of Taekwondo Culture Network. In this video, I will suggest my opinion and experience about training and technique. I will talk about the relation of training and technique, focusing on training more than technique. It is natural that training of Taekwondo is related to technique, but I couldn't hear sufficient explanation about it when I learned it in my youth. I couldn't see many cases, to be honest, actually none of the cases, that someone trained their body with specific and exact concern to a technique. Of course, every training and technique of Taekwondo is related to each other, but no one explains it one by one. No Taekwondo master explains it, maybe because they believe it is obvious to everyone, so they skip it. They just believe every trainee knows it as much as they already know. When I was young and a beginner, I couldn't understand it clearly, so I couldn't be motivated to go on hard and painful training. So now, I will explain it concerned with fist training. Today's main focus will be on the push-up training on fists, that is, fist push-up training. I mean, I will explain the technique in the relation with this fist push-up training. When I say fist push-up training, it refers to this. Firstly, let me notice you need to practice this basic motion after this fist push-up training. I call it 일시무. I explained this basic technique in another video, but let me show you it now. In this video, I just show a simple demonstration of how to practice it, so I'll repeat punching only less than 10 times. But if you train it actually, I recommend you repeat punching 100 times basically. You need to punch 100 times, maybe 50 times and break, and 50 times again, and then you try fist push-ups 20 times. This is one set, and 3 sets are required for daily training. Of course, the more the better. Why is this process is required? Fist push-ups will make your arm stronger. But this strength is only for the power of pushing. I mean, this fist push-up alone is not good enough for powerful punch. So you need to practice 일시무, and it will make your motion of punches faster. Then you can get fast motion of punching with good power. I mean, you can get both of speed and power. And then, the next key point of 일시무 training is bending your knees. It will help you to make whole motion of punching. I mean, you can use the motion of your legs to punch. Then you can use the muscles of your leg when you punch. This training is boring and painful, so almost everyone try this motion only several times, or they try it focusing on hand motion with very high stance. In my experience, it all will be useless. Now, suppose you have trained this, then you can use the basic power to this technique. Yes, this is an example, but the complete technique is the following. Here, let me tell you some technical points of training. Firstly, it is important that the attacker should begin his motion first. The defender should respond to his motion. Block and punch. It should be a response, not an automatical foregoing motion. Why? It should be an actual fight. Secondly, you punch him in this step. Here, you should keep distance from the attacker. If you fail to make this distance, you cannot make a successful kick with 앞차기. As you see it here, only with this distance, you can make a powerful kick. How can you make this distance? It is your punch at him with your fist. You should make distance with the punching strength. Why do you need to push him back? He always pushes you back in his attack. Every attacker pushes you with his hand or punches. It happens always, so unless you push him back, he will get very close to you. Look at him. You see his trunk moves with his attack. No one can attack moving back. Give it a try, then you will see why. Then, with blocking his punch, you can make fist resistance, but it is not sufficient often. Then, next, you push with good impact and you can stop him or push him back to make a good distance. I explained this technique once in the previous video and it was about 3초 겨루기, 3-second 겨루기. The key point is that you need a good power of your hand and you can get it from one hand fist push-up. If you have good power of your punch, this can happen too. In this video, you can see I finish my attack only with my first punch. Can happen with good luck or if I trained my hand and arm very hard. Look at this case. This distance is the key part. Only with this distance, you can make a powerful kick on him. Of course, you need to practice exact motion of 앞차기 with 압축. For it, it is necessary to fold your knee. Otherwise, you cannot kick him with your 앞차기 and you should choose the alternative to try your 돌려차기 with the foot neck. Let me tell you the next. What will happen if he is a very big and strong guy? Then, in spite of your punch, he will push you back and you will be pushed back to this line. He will approach it to this line. But if you have good power of your hand, even though you cannot push him back, your hand will push you back too for this good distance. So in this pose, it is very important for you to bend your knee to make this low pose. For the last, the distance should be so long as this and it is between your hip to his hip. With this distance, you can make a kick with 압축 and then you can knock him down even when he's heavier than you by 20 kilograms or more. If you have never been kicked with exact 압축 앞차기, it may look somewhat powerless. It makes no big sound, so I was afraid of it too at first, but with the actual training, I was kicked by my partner with 압축 and I could be sure this kick can him knock down always, even when he's heavier with double weight. In conclusion, for this distance, you need the strength of one-hand push-ups and I believe it is technically sufficient. Why is it sufficient? The power of your punch comes from your entire weight. For example, my weight is 63 kg and the all you can do with this punch cannot be more than you hit him with this full weight. Of course, it is always, of course, it is almost impossible to use this full weight either. So, although I can push up 100 kilogram or 200 kilogram with my one hand, I cannot use this strength to make an impact on him. Then, this overstrength is useless. You can use this overstrength only when you make low pose to punch him upward, supported by the ground. Otherwise, you need no more than the strength of one-hand push-ups for a good attack. According to the traditional taekwondo, you should think the couple of training and technique, and then you should try to get appropriate training for a technique you choose. It is the first goal of the training. Nothing more than that is required. You can try more training for an impressive demonstration, and sometimes it is good for masters to inspire their students, but this is not for everyone. So, for everyone, good taekwondo demands you choose a technique and get sufficient training for it. And you are supposed to go on that practice for a long time, which means not 1 or 2 days, but more than 3 years at least, hopefully 10 years. If you learn a technique of the traditional taekwondo for 10 years like this, then you can use it effectively whenever you need it on your enemy. I mean, you need to practice the technique and train it, and then you are supposed to crack it with the help of masters. The repetition of these 3 steps is necessary to get true taekwondo technique. Let me repeat. First, repetition of the technical motion. Second, training. And thirdly, corrections. For the good correction, you can ask questions in this YouTube channel. Of course, it will be the best if you visit us at least once or twice for several years. The more often you can visit us, the better, and I bet you will see what you can get from this correction each time, specifically. Thanks for your watching this video. See you again.